Are you ready to practice rounding up and rounding down? This will get more challenging than before, but let's start with a quick review, an easy one. What's the best approximation of 72? First, make room for the number 72 to squeeze into the number stack. Notice that the stack has multiples of 10 in order. Let's think about it for a second. The number 72 falls between 70 and 80. Don't click on 70 and don't click on 80. Click right in the little space between them so the number 72 can squeeze in. Is 72 closer to 70 or is it closer to 80? 2 steps to go back down to 70 or 8 steps up to 80. 70 is closer, so rounding down to 70 is the best approximation. That was easy, but things are about to get more challenging. What's the best approximation of 7,428? It ends with an 8, so you might think we should round up. But look at the number stack. They're multiples of 100. The first number stack had multiples of 10. That changes things. Where does 7,428 squeeze into this stack? Right between 7,400 and 7,500. Which is closer? There are a lot of numbers to look at, and your eye needs to know where to focus, and what numbers you can pretty much ignore. For some help, click the number we are approximating. We can ignore the 7,000 and focus on the hundreds. Which is closer? 28 steps back down to 400, so about 30 steps down, or what, about 70 steps up to 500? We should round down. But if your eye knows where to look, you don't even have to think that hard. Let's think about it. Just look at the first two numbers, and you can see that it's closer to round down. 42 is closer to 40. Pause the video and think about it if you need to. Can you see it without the help? Ignore the 7,000 and focus on the hundreds. We should round down. You'll get better with more practice. What is the best approximation of 583? Well, if you think about what we've done so far, it really depends. Are we rounding to multiples of 100 or multiples of 10? If we look at our stack of multiples of 100, it falls between 500 and 600. If we look at our stack of multiples of 10, it falls between 580 and 590. On the left, if we click for help, nothing really changes. We're still focusing on the hundreds. But on the right, if we click for help, we can ignore the hundreds and focus on the tens. Let's think about it. Just look at the first two numbers, and you can see that it's closer to round up. 58 is closer to 60. On the left, round up to the nearest multiple of 100. And on the right, round down to the nearest multiple of 10. Do you see that 600 on the left and 580 on the right are both good approximations? You can think of multiples of 100 as zooming out, and multiples of 10 as zooming in to be a little more accurate. We've done 4. Let's do one more. 158,375. Yikes! Let's think about it. Looking at the number stack, we are rounding to the nearest 10. That's exactly where we should focus our attention, and we can ignore the rest. 75 is right in the middle, so we should round up to 80. Let's imagine a different number stack. We would be rounding to the nearest 100. just look at the first two numbers. And you can see that it's closer to round up. 37 is closer to 40. Now we can round to the nearest thousand. Again, just look at the first two numbers. And you can see that it's closer to round down. 83 is closer to 80. Pause the video and think about it if you need to. For this number, there's one last possibility. Now we're rounding to the nearest 10,000. You can always use the trick, as long as you know which two numbers to look at. And you can see that it's closer to round up. 58 is closer to 60. Pause the video and think about it if you need to. So, looking at the original number stack, we're rounding to the nearest 10. Just focus on the tens. 75 is right in the middle of 70 and 80, so we should round up to 80. Okay, rounding can really make you think.